Viewers and listeners joining us from different parts of the world, welcome to yet another special edition of the David Chikwasa Global South Indaba. You are watching episode 3, Speaking from Experience, How to Land a Highly Competitive Scholarship. Today on the Indaba, I'm joined by Mr. Jabulani Shaba of Stellenbosch University, South Africa. He is a recipient of the prestigious Mellon Foundation Scholarship. He is currently a doctoral candidate at Stellenbosch University. Jabu, welcome to the Indaba.
Thank you, David. I'm super excited to be here and looking forward to the conversation.
Jabu, in a minute, could you please reflect on the importance of scholarship educational videos?
All right, thank you very much. So I really do think that scholarship videos are really critical because, one, they expose us to the unknown. And when I say the unknown is, the context that and spaces that you would want to be in. So they give you a sense of familiarity, in terms of understanding perhaps the living expenses of the places that you would want to go or the institutions that you're working with. And even the scholarship videos would also give you a sense of an understanding of what they need, the demands that the scholarship needs, the guidelines and how many times a scholarship is called out per year, during which months, they also sometimes, provide you with a certain, you end up getting an appreciation of the things that you're supposed to do and the different faculties that that institution has. So I think these scholarship videos are really, really critical, and they are the first step, really, if anyone is interested in securing scholarship in the world. You really need to familiarize yourself with the demands that they need, the kind of competition, because we are working. You'll be entering a highly competitive space, so you need to know the kind of requirements that are needed. So I think, in short, I would really say familiarity and the context is important. Yeah.
Great, thank you so much, Jabu. I'm also joined by Shubhangi of the University of Edinburgh. She is an incoming economics student that won the prestigious Edinburgh Doctoral Scholarship Award. Shubhangi, welcome and thank you for making the time.
Thank you so much for having me, for letting me join, and the pleasure is all mine.
Great. Could you reflect on the importance of social media in popularizing opportunities out there, including scholarships?
Yeah, so definitely I would say that the videos and the opening of social media platforms and the content being driven more towards applications and more so about scholarships has helped me personally a lot, because when I started applying for my PhD, I would definitely go back and look and try to find people in the community who have been applying or who have applied for such scholarships in the past. So for me, it's about the shared experiences, because getting into such an intimidating environment where it's so competitive these days, where there are so many people who are brilliant candidates and they're all applying for scholarships, so it can be intimidating at a point of time. So when you go back and see these videos, that there are people out there who have gone through the same process, and you can relate, you can share your anxiety, you can derive happiness and understand what you need to do as well. And secondly, it is about being able to organize your thoughts a bit more. So applying for a competitive scholarship also means you need to be structured in your approach about how you really approach the whole problem of getting and securing that funding for you when you're going for something like a PhD, or if you're going for a master's in a particular university. So having a checklist of what I need to do before the scholarship, before the application, what I need to do once I have the application, what amount of funding will I be getting, just like Jabulani just mentioned. I completely agree with him. So in that case, it's like having an organized thought process, which is very well supported by scholarship platforms, or like the videos that offer you such instruction is always really helpful. From my experience, I can definitely say that it has proved to be really helpful for me. So yeah, those are the two things that I would say. Thank you.
Grant, thank you so much, Shubhangi. Also joining us is Rev Richmond of University College Dublin. He won the Erasmus Mundus scholarship to pursue a master's degree with UDC and some other universities as well. Reverend, welcome to the Indaba.
Thank you so much for the opportunity, Mr. David.
Thank you so much as well for showing up. In a minute, could you please just reflect on what made your personal statement stand out in your application? I do understand that the Erasmus Mundus scholarship is very competitive. And I would like to believe that your personal statement really played a critical role as well in you landing that scholarship. So maybe just reflect on that for us.
My scholarship application, what they required was a letter of motivation. It's quite like related to the personal statement, but what really made my, let me say, the letter of motivation stood out for me was that in my application, there was very, very, like, let me say, straight. They gave us requirements. They say, follow this requirement. Yeah, when you're writing the letter of motivation. And I was very, very particularly like critical about the requirement that they gave us. So you have to follow it, and you gave them what they are looking for. So I tailored my letter to the scholarship criteria. And also I was very organized and concise, and also showed passion. That was the most important thing that I did. See, when I was writing my motivation letter, I showed passion. I wrote it with passion. It's not like it is a scholarship, so I'm applying. Yeah, if I win the scholarship, fine. If I don't, so that was my passion. I showed passion that this scholarship, I wanted, I needed scholarship, and I wrote it with all my heart. And this also helped me. It was very short statement, not two pages, just one page with I think a maximum of 1,500 characters. So it was very short and including spaces. So it was very short, like half a page, and you have to be very, very strategic. So what I did was that I just started my career objective in like 2 or 3 lines, my career objective. Okay, and why that career objective? And also, I just linked it with the objectives of the scholarship program. Okay, the scholarship program is to prepare students to be innovative enough to solve complex societal problems. So I just linked my career objective to the scholarship objectives, and how well these 4 universities come together prepare me to be that student that they want at the end. Okay, and just concluded it with my expectations for the scholarship program and even to the entire European culture. So it was very short, but I was very, very concise and well organized, and I think it really helped me in my scholarship application. Yeah.
Great. Thank you so much, Reverend. I feel like that's really, really important, and it's going to help somebody out there that is also thinking about applying for the same scholarship or any other scholarship that requires the same. Viewers and listeners, last but not least, we are joined by Aidah Munissi of Dublin City University. Aidah is a recipient of the Irish government fully funded scholarship Ireland Fellowship Program. She's currently pursuing a master's degree in public policy with DCU. Aidah, thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much, David.
In a minute, Aidah, could you also just reflect on why it is important for one to watch scholarship educational videos from your own perspective?
Thank you very much. And while I was listening to other speakers, I just remind myself of this very popular and famous phrase by Sir Isaac Newton when he once said, he was able to see farther because he stood on the shoulders of giants. When he said this, he meant that he was able to be what he was in his field as a scientist because he learned from other people who came before him, and that really helped him. So having said that, I would say it's absolutely very important for people to take advantage and utilize these educational videos that are being uploaded in different platforms, and people are sharing their own experiences, their own testimonies, how they won this competitive scholarship. You don't have to do something from scratch, like on your own, while in this today's world where all you need is just access to internet and a device to learn everything. So people are generous enough. They're providing a lot of information, resources, sample essays. Some people are sharing even their essays on internet. So I would really encourage people, prospective candidates, to utilize these platforms, utilize these resources. It doesn't only help them through their application processes, but it also builds them this personal confidence, to see like, oh, so these things are attainable, these things are doable, these things are real. Because there's still some misconception among people that, oh, these things are not real. How can someone win a lot of money? How can somebody being funded? So I think it's very, very important, and I stress on that, very important to take advantage and use these resources that people are putting through educational videos. Thank you, David.
Wow. Thank you so much, Aidah. I'm really getting stirred already because you are coming in charged with all these insights, and I'm really excited, and I'm already learning a lot. And from what you guys have said, Aidah, you've just told us there's no need for you to reinvent the wheel. There's no need. Just go, if you have access to the internet, just access these videos, take advantage of them, and get a head start. Thank you so much, Aidah. So, viewers and listeners, we are just going to move on to the keynote question segment. And to open this segment is Jabu. And the question that we received for Jabu is, Jabu, could you please just share with our viewers about the Andrew Mellon Foundation Scholarship? Number one, when can one apply? What are the requirements? What must one give attention when applying? And what are the chief benefits of this prestigious scholarship? Jabu, it's your time.
All right. Thank you, David, for that. And the questions are really, really insightful. So I would say this. Okay. So the Andrew Mellon Foundation provides, scholarships for master's students and PhD students under what it calls the Turning the Tide scholarships. So, for example, for last year, the call opened between 1 June 2022 up to 30 August, 2020. So I think I would really want to speak more about PhD candidates, because that's where that's where my experience comes in. So when you're applying, for a doctoral scholarship, you really, really have to stand out, and this can be done, by focusing on a number of factors. For example, you need to firstly convince yourself that you can do it. When you're pursuing a doctoral study, it means that you need to invest your time, right? So investing your time means sometimes putting yourself in a rabbit hole, right, and sort of shutting the world, right? But the first thing you need to establish is you really want to do it. No one wants to force you, right? So you have to convince yourself that you're capable of doing that. And then the second, after establishing that you really want to do this, you now need to, find yourself, how best can you join a certain, scholarship or a certain debate through your research, right? So I think that's where the gist or the key for doctoral scholarships is. You really need to say, okay, David looks at so and so, or Aidah looks at so and so, but how are you entering, the existing conversation? What is your unique contribution? Yes, we do know that really there's nothing new under the sun, right? But then for the purposes of originality, because I think people who review scholarships. I was fortunate enough to have a workshop here in Stellenbosch where reviewers actually tell us what they wanted. So one of the things is you have to be original, have that focus of originality. That is really, really important. And also you need to make clear arguments, be concise, like what Richmond was saying. It's not about you want to look at climate change, then you want to look at every aspect, or maybe financial development, or whatever research that you need to have a niche, right? And once you do that, you're sort of set to go forward, and this also comes at a cost, right? You need to read widely, you need to engage, you need to immerse yourself in literature, you need to immerse yourself in studies that have been done, right? So that you at least identify yourself that, okay, I'm joining this existing conversation with, and then sort of make your own contribution. And also, David, would you like to come back again on one more question? I think I didn't get the last part.
Okay, Grant. Thank you so much for the answer so far. So yeah, so let me just go with you step by step. So the first question that we have is, when can one apply for this specific Andrew Mellon Foundation scholarship?
All right, I think like I mentioned, the scholarship opens between June and end of August. So that is really the time that, one needs to apply. And I think something that I didn't mention, because that scholarship for me came under, the Faculty of Arts and Social Sciences. So it is some set of themes that it follows. So anyone who is really interested to apply here can just go on the website. I'll provide you with the website link that you can look at, and then sort of see how best you can sort of enter the themes that are there. And also applicants should have sort of a first class distinction, right? So that is maybe 75 plus in the year of maybe the final year of their previous degree, right? So that is also really key. And also maybe for those also applying for a doctoral degree here, you need to at least, okay, sometimes publication are not really recommended or taken into account, but I think if you already have established yourself as a scholar, it sort of boosts your opportunities or your chances to get a scholarship. Suppose you have at least one journal article or a book review or something that sort of already separates you from from the rest. But this is not to discourage those who don't have articles yet not to apply, but you need also to hammer that some of your research outputs that you have is to, at the end of the sorry, at the end of the 3 years or 4 years, you need to say, okay, I'm going to publish at least one or two articles from my PhD thesis. And also that depends really, is your thesis by monograph or is a thesis by publication? So that really depends on that. And also maybe, I don't know, speaking from my own personal capacity, everyone wants a scholarship, guys, and everyone out there will agree with me that it's because of the financial challenges that we constantly face. We cannot foot the financial cost that comes with studying, right? So you really, like I mentioned earlier on, you really need to give a robust research proposal. And also you need to also do a background check of the institutions that you want to engage or that you want to apply to. It might be Dublin, it might be Edinburgh, it might be Oxford, Cambridge, or anywhere in the world, right? You really need to have sort of a insight, a background check of, okay, who is going to be your potential supervisor, right? So for what I did really is, sometimes you have the opportunity to contact them personally, say, okay, look, this is what I'm doing, right? I feel like I would be better placed with you as my mentor, as my supervisor. And you really also need to convince. It's not just going on email, say, hey, I read your article, or can you really need to be convincing. right? So I think that's one of the things that potential applicants must look out for, and also having a supportive structure, a supportive family, academic or even personal. So for me, I was fortunate enough that I really had a good master's supervisor who sort of, during my time, when I did my master's degree at the University of Zimbabwe, he also took me through, we sort of extended our friendship into more than supervisor student, right? So you really need to establish a good rapport with your lecturers, right? And these are the people who are going to write recommendation letters for you, and I also, attended one workshop when, people were saying, especially in Zimbabwe or from the department that I was in, there's a certain scholar from the global north who was sort of a PhD reviewer would say, sometimes you can feel that your supervisor has just written a reference letter for you, which is not as concise, which is not as, so you really also need to know who are you handing in to say, okay, can you write this reference letter for me? Because those people are not only your mentors, but they're also a leeway into your future, right? So whoever is going to write your reference letter out there, let it be someone you really have a good relationship, because whatever they say, and sometimes you cannot see what they write, right? Sometimes the reference letter is just sent through maybe a website link. So, and they will just tell you, okay, I've written this reference letter for you, but you never know, right? So it is really important to, have a good relationship with your lecturers. And yeah, I think for now, I would say that's some of the key pointers, really. Yeah.
In brief, what are the benefits of the Andrew Mellon Foundation?
Okay. One of the benefits is, like every other scholarship, really, is it provides you with, funds to carry out your research, research funds. Sometimes, for PhD students who want to go back to the field, you're sort of given an allowance that would sort of help you to, cater for the expenses. But also this, I must emphasize that it also has its, I wouldn't say downside, but you really have to. So when you get a scholarship, it doesn't necessarily mean that you need to go out there and buy a house or buy land or start a business. Remember, this is just money that is given to you to allow you to advance your studies, right? So sometimes some of the challenges that we have as students, and also I'm speaking for someone I know, is we want to make that money cater for other activities outside our academia life, so that's when it becomes a problem, because the money sometimes caters for your rent and for your fieldwork, and that's it. So you really need to be able to understand the taxes that comes with, or the conditions that comes with that scholarship, so that in your final year you don't have to write back to the graduate school, say, no, now the money is not enough. So that also is important when choosing a scholarship. You need to know how much does the scholarship provide, except, apart from the tuition, right? What are the other, what is left from that. So I think that is really, really also key. And I think maybe just in a minute or so, my personal experience, really, it's a bittersweet story, to say the very least. I remember applying for my first master's scholarship. I wanted to pursue a master's in international relations. That was 2019, and I was so eager. I just finished my undergraduate, with no experience, saying, okay, the next thing that I want to do, I want to have a scholarship. I want to go to Germany and do my MSc in international relations. And yeah, I did not adhere to some of the things that I said earlier on, and that's why I ended up not getting that. And rejection, the kind of rejection I received, it's sort of, I don't know how to explain this, but I was really, really shocked. I was really disheartened, And then I kept on applying. So this is my message to people who are going to listen to this afterwards, is to say, the journey begins with challenges sometimes. And, Aidah's journey or David's journey or Richmond's journey is different from yours. For some people, it can be straight from A to point B. For some people, it can take 2 years without getting a scholarship, facing rejections, and sometimes it can affect your mental health. But there's always going to be one day, where you're going to receive an email to say, "Dear so and so, we are excited, or would like to let you know that you have received." And I remember when I got my first for my scholarship for my PhD. It was raining actually in December. I was just walking, and I actually had no data for checking my email. So I had spent a month without checking my emails. And the moment I checked my email, I saw, "We are pleased." I did not finish reading that email. I knew this is mine, and the joy that comes with that. And I really think that on a more serious note, really, you have to keep pushing, you have to keep trying, you have to keep every rejection. Someone will tell you, "I faced maybe 30, 40 rejections," but keep on, applying, keep on. Your scholarship will come, your moment will come. And when it comes, really, it will open you to a world that you never thought would be possible for you. I found myself, also getting partial scholarship or exchange programs like, the Erasmus Plus, going to Germany, to the Netherlands, presenting on conferences. So it would not have been possible if I had just sat back because of just one rejection to say, okay, that's it, I'm done. I will do whatever. But keep on trying, and just make sure that with rejection also comes, the desire to change what you're doing. And also, I think I should hammer this down. One of the problems that people have is sort of doing a copy and paste to say, "David, can I have you want a scholarship at maybe Dublin or at Ireland? Give me your personal statement." And someone just copy and paste that. And that's also one of the reasons why people end up not getting some of these scholarships, because you're just copying and pasting, just saying, okay, just because this person got it, then it's automatic. So you really also need to pay attention. You need to be concise. You need to see the demands of the scholarship. What is it that is demanded of me? Okay, is this a leadership scholarship? Right? Is this an
Yes.
academic? Yeah. So in short, I would say that.
So moving on to Shubhangi. Shubhangi, I noticed in your bio that you awarded the prestigious Edinburgh Doctoral Scholarship. Could you tell our viewers and listeners what this scholarship is all about, what it covers, the most important requirements of this specific scholarship, and your application experience in 5 minutes?
Thanks for the question, David. So I'll start with what the scholarship is about. So first of all, the Edinburgh Doctoral College Scholarship is provided to students who wish to pursue a doctoral program at the University of Edinburgh. And it's a competitive scholarship because because it covers your tuition fees. And apart from that, it offers you a stipend, a monthly stipend, which allows you to cover your living costs as well as your accommodation costs and all the other extra costs that comes with it. And it's a competitive scholarship because for most of the departments and most of the courses, only one scholarship is available. I guess only for physics and astronomy and geosciences. These are the two courses for which there are 3 scholarships each available for doctoral students. For rest of the courses, I guess only one scholarship is available. The eligibility requirement, you can apply for the scholarship as soon as you have entered an application for one of the programs that you wish to apply for. So as soon as you have your application on the portal, you can go and apply for multiple scholarships, and you can choose this scholarship as one of the scholarships that you want to apply for. What you need to cover and what you need to have to be eligible for the scholarship is obviously like good grades in your, because it's a doctoral program scholarship, so it's only available for students who are going for a PhD, and thus you should have good grades in your undergraduation as well as your masters. The second thing is that you should be able to identify a research topic that you wish to work on, and then the application would also require you to talk about your research proposal, that is the broad area that you want to study, why you are interested in studying that particular topic, what motivated you to study that particular topic. You have to discuss about the topic briefly, how much you know about it, what are you planning to do about it. So you really have to display your passion there about what is it that really wants you to like go for this particular type of research in there. The deadline for this scholarship is February 1st. So as soon as you have your application in the portal, you can apply for it for the scholarship. It opens around September, late September to early October. The scholarship opens, and then you can apply for it till February 1st. And once you are selected for the scholarship, there will be an interview that you need to appear for, because they want to, given just right now how Jabu was talking about people copying each other's statement, etc. So, that can also be the case. So they do want to check the authenticity and the integrity of the person who's applying. So, that's there as well. Yeah. So my personal experience would be that, first of all, I didn't apply just to Edinburgh. I applied to almost 8 universities where in the UK and Europe, where I wanted to, go for a doctoral program. The first and foremost, which is the most important thing, is if you're especially in the field of economics or social sciences, is be able to identify a department rather than going just by the name of the department. You really want to be able to identify a department where what you are interested in studying, there are people in that department who are studying such a thing. Otherwise, you'll get into a program, and then later on, it might happen that you'll not find people around who are like supporting you with the kind of research that you want to do. So be sure that you don't go by the name, but you go by your interest, that you're able to identify a department where there are people who are studying the topics that you are interested to pursue. The second thing that I would recommend for people, like for the prospective students, is that I guess for econ department, it generally happens that people end up, because you're not, for all the universities, you're not required to contact the supervisor. But what I would definitely recommend is that, don't hesitate. Feel free to reach out. And, I have to be very grateful for the people that I am currently working with, because my supervisor currently pushed me actually to talk to people, or to talk to my potential supervisors that I would want to work with, because I always thought that, oh my God, they would think, what would these professors think? Would they even reply to my email? Would they find my idea interesting? What if they dismiss my idea altogether? But I would suggest that don't be scared. You have to take the chance. You need to just send out emails, and people are really good. They do get back. And I heard from a couple of professors, like they were interested, and they would want to listen about my idea, even if they didn't have the opportunity or the funding available to sponsor me for their program. They would be interested in telling me the potential places where I could go apply. So that always helps you build that connections. It also gives you a sense of a push that you require. So being able to develop those connections and being able to identify potential supervisors who would be interested in working with you is something that's really important. Because for me, Edinburgh became such a suitable place to work in, because I knew that the person that I chose to work with is somebody who's very helpful, who's also very knowledgeable, but is also someone who's willing to listen and to guide me. So he'll give me that time. I could feel that from the moment I did the interview with him to another call and another call. I could feel that he was there. So I know he'll be there throughout my PhD journey. So second thing is being able to identify a proper advisor. And then the third thing is, while some people who are academically driven and some people who are like, driven towards bringing new knowledge, or who are driven towards creating an impact towards in the society, it's easy for you to get persuaded with what's currently happening, what people are doing, and then just falling into that job or like a profession just for the sake of pursuing it. but it should not be the case. You should only go for a PhD, or you should only go for a master's, or you should only go for, a policy evaluation job, or into public policy, or, any science related, anything, only if you are really passionate for it. So even if you have to take a drop year for 1 year or 2 years, something that can be frowned upon, when your CV doesn't have those missing out years, it can be frowned upon. But I would say that until and unless you have really identified your passion, it doesn't make sense for you to jump into it, because then later on you'll reflect back after 2-3 years and think that, maybe I should have taken 1 more year and thought this through, and then I would have been in this place where, while I am not currently there. So what I did was that, from my own experience, I would say that after I graduated, like once I finished my master's, I took 1 year to do my pre-doc, which is like I started doing a research assistant job with London School of Economics with the professor there. And then that year I thought I would apply for the program. But then slowly and steadily, I realized that that my application is not so strong yet. I need more things in my portfolio. I feel like the competition out there is strong. And then I was also worried that what if I take another year and then again it doesn't happen. So, I was afraid of taking that chance. But today I'm very glad that I took that chance, and then, I landed into a better place than I would have in the past year. So, be ready to take that chance for yourself, and like give yourself time to prepare for whatever is coming next, and, take your time and then structure your thoughts. The fourth thing that I would say is, don't be afraid of taking feedbacks. So when I wrote out my personal statement for the first time, I was proud of it, because I took a good 15 days to write that personal statement and write my research proposal. But then I sent it to a couple of friends to evaluate my personal statement. And then they came back with certain feedbacks, which was at point like harsh, or, that said certain things that I would not expect them to say. And then I had to take a step back and reanalyze that, these are the feedbacks, the comments that I do really need to incorporate into my statement. So I did a couple of revisions, and then some more, and then some more. So it took me a month to get to that personal statement, which was going to be the ideal personal statement, which somebody would read and, it should stand out. Because just like Richmond mentioned, that he had a half-page personal statement, and that itself should say whatever you are supposed to say. People are assessing in different departments. People are assessing, hundreds of applications in a day. They'll read 2 lines and then they'll lose interest until and unless you have written something that's really standing out and that really shows your passion. Again, what Jabu said, that, you need to show that kind of passion. You need to know where you are coming from. So those are the things that you need to look at. So don't be afraid of taking those feedbacks. Be there to embrace the criticism that comes along. I'm not saying that, be like, no, there's a lot of criticisms, I'm going to give up and then I'm off. No, I'm no good. But don't think that way. Be okay, and try to take in as much as possible, because people are genuinely out there to help you. So yes. And then reach out to people. I would suggest, because now in the world of social media, you have got people who are posting videos, who are putting out all the information, and who are sharing those experiences. So don't feel like you are out there on your own. You should be able to reach out to people and get to know from their experiences. It's always going to help. These are some of the things that helped me a lot. So yeah, I think that would summarize my experience.
Reverend Richmond, you have been awarded the Erasmus Mundus scholarship. Could you just share with our viewers about this scholarship, including when to apply and how to apply for it? I mean, in the same vein, could you also share with our viewers and listeners what made your application a winning application? I do understand you might have touched on some of these things, but yeah, talk to us.
All right, so thank you so much once again for the opportunity. Yes, the Erasmus Mundus Scholarship is a prestigious scholarship that provides full funding for international students. to pursue higher education in Europe. When I say full funding, it covers everything. It covers everything. So I'll talk about the package. So, and the program too is a collaboration between European Union and higher education institutions in Europe and other third world countries. Let me say third world countries. It's like countries that are part of the European, the member states of the European Union. Yeah, we could also have the opportunity to also go and study there as well. And the goal of the Erasmus Mundus scholarship is to promote cultural exchange and academic excellence. Yeah, so that is why I said it's a mobility. Yeah, it's a mobility program. You don't stay in one country. Yeah, you move from one country to another country, from one university to another university. So the goal is to promote cultural exchange. At the end of the day, you'll be able to study a lot of people's culture. You meet people from different cultural background. So it gives you the opportunity, the exposure to know different people from different countries, and you learn from them. Yeah, food that you have not eaten before, you will eat something. Yeah, so you begin to like learn more about people's culture. And another aim is to promote academic excellence. At the end of the day, you'll be sharpened. You will know a lot. You will study a lot. You attend a lot of like conferences, workshops. So at the end of the day, you'll be versed with a lot of knowledge. Yes, and the degree is awarded by maybe the 4 universities or 3 universities or the number of the universities that you attended. That's why I said there is a joint degree. Okay, so it could be a single degree that will be given to you, like a single certificate that will be given to you, but the other universities will sign on it. So let's take, for instance, my program that I'm doing. Yeah, I'm attending 4 universities. Okay, so I could get a single certificate that is issued by one university. Okay, but here the other universities will have to append their signatures on the certificate. Yes, you see how it is. Yeah, and also it could also be maybe a joint degree, like maybe 2 certificates or 3 certificates issued by the consortium universities. Yes, and also the scholarship covers the contribution cost. Let me say contribution cost, anything related to the program. Okay, it could be the tuition, fees, any expenses related to the program. So you don't have to pay anything. So it covers the contribution cost. And also it covers your traveling cost. Yes, assuming you're moving for me, when I'm from Ghana to Europe, yeah, it covers the traveling part, the air ticket, and also the visa expenses, and also we have something called installation cost. So the installation cost is like you are coming to a new environment, a new country. Me from Ghana to my first country, Portugal. It's like I don't know anything about Portugal. Yes, so they give you an installation money that you will use to like cater for petty expenses when you get to Portugal, like the first month. Okay, yes, so that you have something on you. Yes, and also they give you monthly stipend. Every month they will pay you, and it based on the stipend is calculated based on the distance between your first country and your country of residence. Okay, yeah, so from Ghana, okay, then they calculate that for my my program, the distance is calculated from my country Ghana and Austria. Yes, so the coordinating university is in Austria. Okay, so they calculate the distance. Yeah, so how far from your country to the coordinating university? Yes, they base on the distance and calculate the stipend for you. Yes. So the scholarship covers all these things: the contribution cost, the travel cost, the visa, and the installation cost, and also the monthly stipend as well. And when and how to apply for the Erasmus Mundus scholarship, Yes, we have the Erasmus Mundus Scholarship has a catalog, okay, an online platform, okay, where all the programs are listed. So it is for you, the scholarship applicant, to go to the website, read about the programs. Okay. Yeah, we have many programs over there, many programs over there. And every year they have new programs that are added. Okay. Some programs are added. So you could see new programs there, programs that were not maybe there previously. You could also see another program maybe this year. Okay, so you have to read about the programs, know the ones that maybe you want to apply, those programs that maybe meet your objectives, or yeah, the program that you like. Then you click on it. So like every information that you need to know about the program is on the online platform, the platform. Okay, we have a link there that you click on it to take you to the program website, the program requirements, and everything. So you have to read more about it. And when you go to the catalog too, under each program, the number of universities or the coordinating universities are also listed. Okay, so from a program like this, Transition, Innovation, and Sustainability Environment, all the 4 countries are listed under the program. So you have the opportunity to know the countries that you're going to travel to. Yes, and this program too, at least you have to travel to at least 3 countries, at least. So you don't just stay in one country and study all the 2 years program. No, at least you have to travel from one country to another country. Yes, and also most programs open the scholarship application in October. Most of them, yeah, it opens in October. Yeah, but I'm yet to see other programs that open in early September. I'm yet to see that, but most programs open in October, and by February, it's closed. Yes, so you have to be very, very strategic and know the timeline so that you can apply very, very early. Yes, and you don't have to just wait. Some people, they sit down when it's getting to the deadline that they apply. Yeah, I had some people, because on my LinkedIn profile, yeah, I have stated they are Erasmus Mundus scholar. So some people contacted me for advice, and the time they contacted me, it was already late. It was already late. It's getting to the deadline of the scholarship program. So the advice I gave to them, that I'm not going to discourage you. You can apply. You can even use some, if you have like the experience or something like that. You can use like maybe 5 days. Sit down, gather all your documents and apply. But it is not advisable. Yeah, yeah, it's not advisable to sit down and apply with pressure. You will forget certain things. Yes. So you have to know the timeline and start as soon as possible. Yes. So as I said, the program is very, very important. This Erasmus Mundus Scholarship Program is very, very important. The most fascinating aspect is traveling from one country to another country. It is really, really, very enjoyable. Yes. Now I know more about Portugal. Yeah, I know more about Ireland. Yes, I know more about the weather differences. Yeah, in Portugal, the weather conditions over there; in Ireland, the weather conditions over here. And I don't know what Poland will give it to me. I don't know the weather conditions in Poland, but I know Poland too has its own weather conditions and their living conditions over there. And I know that by the time I finish in Austria, I will know a lot about people's culture. So basically, this is what I can tell you about the Erasmus Mundus scholarship program. And ending it with why my application, or like let me say, the application stood out. Yes, let me say, I started early. The application I started early. Yes, I read about the program early, and um, this is let me say, the technique I used. I was exposed to the UN Sustainable Development Goals. So I had that passion. Yes, let me go and find program that will help me, prepare me to like find problems in my community and solve. You see, and solve this problems in my community, because they have a lot of problems in the world, particularly in Africa. Okay, so that was my passion. So I just went to the Erasmus Mundus catalog, the online platform. So I was just reading from program to program. Let me see one program that like aligns with my passion, okay, with my interest. And at the end of the day, I chanced on this program, the Transition, Innovation, and Sustainability Environment. I read about the program very well. And I said, wow, this is a very nice program. I love this program. Because this is what I want to do. And this is what I want to become. Okay, this program will help me. Yeah, this is what I told myself. Then I read about the requirements. And by God's grace, I meet all the requirements. And I said, wow, then I won't sit down and let this scholarship pass. So I read about all the requirements and I started gathering my documents. And based on your academic performance, aside though your academic performance, you also have the chance to write something, express yourself. That's a letter of motivation. And the program too has an essay. Okay, an essay you have to write. The essay gives you more time. It's like at least 2 pages to express more about the essay talks about the problem you have located in your area and how you want to even solve that particular problem. Okay, so me, I identified one particular problem in my country, Ghana, and I wrote about the problem. And the problem that I identified, it is something that I have started working towards to solve. During my undergraduate studies, that was something that I started. I had a passion and started working towards that particular problem. Okay, I have an NGO, an organization. I team up with some people in Ghana, and we are working towards to solve that particular problem. So when I saw that requirement as part of the program and the scholarship application, I used this as an opportunity, wrote about the problem I've identified in my community, my experience, what I am doing currently to solve that particular problem. Okay, then I wrote the essay very well. And the letter of motivation, so as I said, I started with my career objective. I linked it with the program objective and how the program is going to prepare me to achieve my career objective and also my expectations for the program, and even not for the program alone, for the entire European Union and even the world. So this is the structure I followed. And I tell you, if I'm to give you my SOP, like the letter of motivation to read, you see that yes, I wrote it with passion. So this is the motivation and the let me say why my scholarship application stood out. Let me say, I don't know other people, what other people also wrote and submitted for the scholarship application, but for me, I know this really made my application stood out.
Great. Thank you so much, Reverend Richmond. I'm just gonna move on to Aidah. Aidah, this is your time. You were awarded a fully funded Irish government scholarship. Could you share with our viewers more about this scholarship? What can they also, when can they also apply for it, and what are the requirements? And maybe you could also tie this in as well. What, in your view, are the tips for one to also make a successful application?
Thank you, David. So I will go straight to explain about the Irish Fellowship Program Scholarship. That is a fully funded scholarship by the Irish government. and it has been funded under the Department of Foreign Affairs. And when we say fully funded, like how other speakers have explained, it means they cover all the expenses that are supposed to are included with your whole package that you need to be a student in a master's level. This scholarship is especially for master's level, and it is being awarded to eligible candidates each year from Africa, from African countries. So there is a list of eligible countries. I think for now it's like 20 countries from Africa are being eligible to be awarded this scholarship. And the opening of this scholarship is in June, end of June to September, when in this time interval it's when you can do your applications. And the whole process of application has three stages: the first stage, the second, and the third stage. So the first stage, it's just about a brief introduction about yourself. It's just an initial simple and brief application. And I think in this stage, they just want to to assess your eligibility. So when you pass this one, then you get to the second stage, which is more detailed, where you will write now your essays, your motivational statements, and other information in detail. And when you succeed from this one, then you'll be now invited for the interviews and other procedures. So the basic requirement of this scholarship is first to be a citizen from eligible countries, as I said. So you have to be a citizen and a resident from those countries. You will all find all of this information about eligibility in their website. They have all of the information there. We can share later. But also the second requirement, you have to have a bachelor degree in any field, of course, with good grades. I'm going to stress that later, why you should have good grades. And other requirement is for you to have a working experience, not less than 2 years. It's very important. And also you have to have like another requirement is for you to have a language proficient proof, which you will need to attach, and I will explain it in detail also. So when you meet all of these requirements, now you're good to apply for this scholarship. And what are the benefits of this scholarship? As I said, it's a full funded. So the package itself covers all the expenses from tuition fee, medical insurances, flight tickets, settling allowance when you arrive in Ireland, and your stipends, monthly stipends. Also, your accommodation will be arranged, or they will cover all the accommodation expenses. Also, you will get to be given this fee for your permit, residence permit here in Ireland. And once you complete your program, also you'll be given a completion allowance when you're going back home. So you can see the benefits. It's really a good package. And I can encourage people, especially from Tanzania, because one thing I've noticed here, I'm coming from Tanzania. Every time I introduce myself, I'm coming from Tanzania, people will be like, oh, you're the first person I've met from Tanzania. So there is this thing about Tanzania, they're still lagging behind in grabbing these opportunities. I would really encourage people to look up to these opportunities. And chances are that for those people who are not really applying, they have bigger chances to be considered somehow. So we will provide, I think, all of these links, and people will get to see by themselves on their website. And I will just speak in brief about the tips, because a lot have been said with other speakers. Tips for applying a successful application, because we are not just trying to apply, we want to apply that winning application, which you will win and actually excel in your academic field. So the very, very, very important thing I would like to talk about is your motivation statement, or what we call statement of purpose. And this is very important. This is where now you're going to demonstrate all your achievement, all your capabilities, you are going to show your kung fu and acrobatics there. So when you're trying to structure this motivational statement, I think the very important thing, you have to identify first the purpose of this scholarship, particular scholarship you're applying. As how Richmond said, this scholarship has different targets, has different purposes, has different objectives. Before even starting your application, I would recommend you identify first the purpose of your scholarship. For instance, in my experience, this Irish scholarship is targeting to create leaders who are going to help now to go back into their countries and help to build in country capacity to excel in delivering of sustainable development goals in different fields and different areas. So once you know this, then you need to put this in your motivation statement somehow. Your objectives, your goals and career aspirations should align to the target of this particular scholarship, so that those people say, oh, this is the perfect person we can invest our money, because she or he also has similar goals that we also have. So failure to identify this, you'll be writing some things that they will not be interested. So I really encourage people to identify these purposes and try to put these targets while they are structuring their motivational statement. Something else that I want to stress about is working experience. It's very important to have a working experience and refrain to have zero working experience, because at the level of master's level, we assume that you had time to engage yourself in working environment, not just to be fully employed. Things like volunteering, self initiatives, those are all working experience, and they're very important. So once you're writing about your motivational statement, you can now connect from your background, academic background that you have, and your working experience, and now to your career aspiration or goals. And that connection is what matters most when you're trying to argue and address what you're trying to write. So something else I would like to talk about is these letters of recommendation, which are supposed to be attached as one among the documentation with your application. They're very important. I think nobody has spoke about this, but this is very important element, and you need to make sure that you get to identify who are going to be your referees early as possible, because now you're inviting a third party in your application, and you don't know what uncertainties can happen. So for me, I encourage people to have these people to have academic maybe referees. Some scholarship needs maybe academic referees or working referees, but most of them they need academic referees. So you need to identify these people early as possible, and make sure you know these people in person. Make sure you have professional relationship with these people. You don't want to call just someone since you graduated maybe 6 years from your college, and now you're calling someone to write for you a recommendation letter. That will not work on your favor for your application. So you need to have like a proper, appropriate relationship with your referees. Tell them about what you're applying in order for them to customize the letter specific to you and for particular scholarship. That is very important. They don't want to sound like very general, they have to tailor it to you, specific you, and they should be able to testify that they know you and they can talk positive things about you with no doubt. So reference is very important. Make sure you have
Yes.
early. And last thing I would say, maybe be ready with other documentation that will be needed. For instance, maybe transcripts, have them handy, or certificates, passport, things like those. So that is what I can say, David.
Thank you. Thank you. I cannot thank you enough. I'm just gonna move on to the third segment of our discussion, our Indaba this afternoon. And this is where we will be doing follow-ups and supplementary questions. But I want to make it as flexible as possible. I'm just going to start with Jabu. I'm going to bring Jabu back. And Jabu, not to ask you any question, but as the fellow panelists were speaking, any thoughts? Any thoughts came to your mind?
Definitely. I followed through. I was, listening, and yeah, I must say, these other panelists really gave vital and informative points that all aspiring applicants should take into consideration. But maybe one or two reflections, really. First of all, I'd like to hammer down on what Richmond says. You know, it's okay maybe to apply a day before, the scholarship deadline, but sometimes I believe that, the application process takes time. And, the next month or the next week, you begin to shape it more and more. And also someone touched on how to, giving other people your research proposal, your application, for them to do sort of a mock review. I think that is really, really necessary, because sometimes someone might not relate to your field, but they can pick up on the grammar, on the typos that you make. And it is those kind of mini mistakes that can also cost you, because you're applying to prestigious universities out there and you cannot even write in a more concise way. So I think it's those little things sometimes that can also actually, that can also sort of work against you. And also, I think Richmond also talked about, how fascinating his scholarship is, the ability to move beyond borders, from one country to another. And I think also getting remuneration via, distance, saying, okay, we give you your package. Looking at, I think that is really, really amazing. And also, I think Aidah and Shubhangi came in with really interesting points there, that sometimes you also need to have a sense of, work experience, right? Because it sort of makes you more eligible, to say at least someone is working already or has a certain experience. Like what Richmond said, he was working, with the theme of sustainability, and already he was engaged in the civic practice. And sometimes really that could also boost your chances. And remember, there are thousands of people across the world who are only fighting maybe for 10 spots that scholarship is offering. So I think that is really, really key to, to stand out. So I think, yeah, for now, I would say that is some of my reflections. Thanks, Dave.
Thank you so much, Jabu. I'm going to move on to Shubhangi. Shubhangi, the same question and amazing thoughts that came to your mind as you were listening to other speakers, other panelists.
Yeah, thank you, David. Just a very small few reflections. One was like how Aidah was talking about being sure about who your referees are. I think most of us missed out on covering that. So yes, I would definitely think that being able to identify who is going to write a letter for you and being in good touch with them is also very important, because that reference letter is something that can make your application stand out. Because again, like she mentioned, there is a third party that's preparing and that's writing something for you, so it has to absolutely stand out. And for PhD especially, like a reference letter can do you wonders, because if they have written, like, anybody is going to say that this person has good grades, they are hardworking, but what really needs to stand out is how much ability that person has to think about original ideas, or are they able to do research on their own or not. Those are the things that only, the people that you have worked with can potentially point it out to you. So, having that connection is definitely very important. And then again, like Jabu mentioned, don't be scared of rejections. So, when you're going for a PhD, or even when you're applying for masters, you're applying to multiple schools, and in PhD you are applying to multiple journals when you're submitting your articles. So you're bound to get rejection. So don't be disheartened from that. Just keep trying. It's going to happen. And from Richmond's view, I would just say that have that passion. Like, I can see how passionately he talks about his own ideas and where he is coming from. So having that kind of passion when you talk, and that's definitely going to be reflected on what you want to do and where you want to be. So that's going to take you a long way. So yeah, those are just some of the thoughts from the other panelists of what they have talked about. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Shubhangi. Just gonna move right next to Richmond. Richmond, please come in.
All right, so I would say that recommendation is very, very key in scholarship application. As Aidah I made mention of, connecting to professors before we even leave the university or we leave the campus. But this thing is very, very important. Some people they just, when they are on campus, they don't connect with their professors. They don't connect with them. So it's like when you're applying for a scholarship and you tell your professor to write a recommendation, but what at all is the professor going to write? You see, so yeah, I was a teaching and research assistant at the University of Cape Coast, and yeah, I worked with two professors, so I know what I'm talking about. Yeah, there, and someone will just send me a message that, oh, I want a recommendation from your professor. Can you talk to your professor to write it for me? I said, why? Why should I do that? Because you need a recommendation letter. Talk to him, and it's like the professor will come, he will tell me that, Richmond, I don't even know this person. So how can I? You see, so this is very, very important. Whilst you're on campus, connect with your professors. Recommendation plays a major role in your scholarship or maybe decision making. What the professor writes about too plays a major, major, major role. Yes, and also Jabulani made mention of the scholarship you're applying for. Know more about the scholarship. What does the scholarship seeks to achieve? Is it like meant for like promoting leadership? Because we have some scholarship applications or like some scholarship program that envisions to prepare students, particularly into leadership positions. I don't want to mention any scholarship, but if you research, you will know that this scholarship is purposely for leadership. This scholarship is to push you into academia or and any other field. So know more about these things. And this is really, really going to help you know how to tailor your application, the SOP and everything towards the needs of the scholarship. And as we have to also show passion, don't give up. As Shubhangi said, you have to show passion, don't give up in the application process. Yes, if let me say there are a lot of stress in the application process. For stress, you'll pass through a lot of stress. You don't have to give up. You don't have to give up. You have to push through. And I know everything is going to be fine. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Richmond. That's really enlightening and encouraging. I'm just going to move on to Aidah. Aidah, please do come back and share with us your reflections.
So thank you. A lot have been said, almost everything, but I want to stress about timing and when you're supposed to start your application. For me, I would like to advise people to have like advanced preparation. For instance, if you get to know about these opportunities, you don't have to wait until the application windows are open. Now you start to apply under pressure and in a short time that they provide. Though the time is reasonable, but you can still do these things in prior. You can have all your things, your blueprint of your motivational statement, to all of your things together and just wait for applications. For instance, for my own scholarship, which will be, the window will be open in July. So for now, someone who is interested for this scholarship can start putting things together, writing down things, writing your motivational statement, collecting all the things, connecting with your professors, like how Richmond said. Tell them what your next step in your career is. Tell them I'm planning to do this and this. So setting up everything, and when the application is now open, you're good to go with less pressure. And I believe that with that state of mind, you will be able to submit that top-notch application. So what something else I can bold is about a little bit about, I forgot to mention something in your motivational statement. When you're writing down, for me, what I think made my statement to be outstanding, it's when I was able to even talk about what I'm planning to do in my program, like research, because I was able to identify what I'll do in my research, in my dissertation, talk about what, show them that you know exactly this, what you're expected of in your program. Because at the master's level, obvious, you're going to be required to do and to conduct an independent research. So you should demonstrate that you are capable to conduct a research. You can talk about in brief about your research topic, or address a problem that you want to work about on. So these people will say, yes, this person is serious and determined and really know what he or she wants to do. So for me, I really believe in preparation, and there is nothing else in these application processes than preparation. No luck. It's not for specific people like other people perceive maybe. So it's all about preparation. When they meet opportunities, then it's success. So this is what I can say. Thank you, David.
Excellent. Start early. Don't wait. Start early as possible. And a reference letter or a recommendation letter can either make or break your chances of securing that scholarship. Thank you so much for those nuggets, everyone. So we're just going to go to the fourth and final segment of our Indaba. And in this Indaba, we will hear our panelists submitting their closing remarks. And I'm just going to start with Jabu, and maybe just to guide your closing remarks, what have been your experiences studying in South Africa in a minute?
Okay, I'll do this in a minute, I promise you. Yeah, my experience has been really, really amazing, to say the least. I remember, starting in the first year, you're exposed to certain new things, new encounters that you're not really accustomed to. So I would put it that way. I sort of had an interesting culture shock to say, okay, which I really appreciated, to say, okay, these people also, live their life in this way. So, by as time goes on, you begin to appreciate, those kind of social dynamics and the spaces that you are in. And I feel like I've grown in terms of, my intellectual development. The moment I started in 2021 and up to now, it has been, sometimes you're also sort of shocked to say, okay, this was not me in 2021. It's because of the platforms and the spaces that you're exposed to. So really, the journey is just amazing. And yes, it has also had, its setbacks. I remember, having to wait for study visas and permits. I'm sure everyone knows how that stressful time is, having to wait, going through a lot. But overall, I would really say the time here has been amazing. Especially, having to work with a really, really supportive and encouraging supervisor. I'm really, really looking forward to submitting my thesis in October, and then, moving forward and see what the world has for me. But really, it has been amazing. And I encourage people who want to apply to Stellenbosch University to really come, and in your numbers, it's going to really, really change how you see things. Yeah, thanks, David.
Thank you so much, Jabu. That was indeed in a minute. I'm just going to move on to Shubhangi. Shubhangi, it's also your time to submit your closing remarks and maybe to guide you. What, from your experience, what was the most outstanding thing that you did to strengthen your application? This is just to guide you, but you can say absolutely anything.
Thank you, David, for that question. So I would say that being persistent is one thing that really worked out for me when I was preparing my applications. So matter of fact, what stood out was the connections that I was able to make, like not being hesitant in reaching out to people that I might be interested in working with. So showing that confidence and being able to talk with an academic is something that can be intimidating at times, because they are people who are high up there, who have accomplished so much in their field. So it can be intimidating. So just having that courage to be able to reach out was something that really worked in my favor. And then being persistent, like I mentioned, being able to take feedbacks and work on my application as much, like make it as strong as possible was, those are the things that worked. So those are my concluding remarks. Thank you, David.
Reverend Richmond, it is now your time, but just to guide you, what in general terms are the most critical documents that are required for your scholarship application? But like I said again, you don't really have to stick to this. You can say absolutely anything. It's your time.
All right. So some critical documents that my scholarship requires is some of them are your traveling passport. You should have your passport ready. Yes. Yeah, don't wait till 2 months to the deadline that you are going to apply for your passport. You may not get it on time. Yeah, so get your passport ready. You also have to start writing a letter of motivation and recommendation letters, at least two recommendation letters, and your degree certificate must also be ready, and academic transcript, should be complete transcript. Yes, and also your English proficiency test scores should also be available. Yes, but sometimes there are conditions. If you are from a country where English is the official language, you don't have to maybe submit the test scores, but a statement like maybe English proficiency letter from the university stating that your education was done in English, or English was the sole language of instruction for your education, could also be enough evidence that you can speak the English. And also the Europass CV. Yeah, the Europass CV is like, it follows the European format. So for my scholarship program, they gave us the format, the template, the CV template, the European CV template. They gave it to us. So you have to modify it so that you can also add it to your application document. And the essay is kind of like a problem statement. Yes, you have to also have it with you. And certificate of residence. The certificate of residence, my program didn't require it. Some other programs require certificate of residence. The certificate of residence is like a statement, stating that you reside in the country that you're applying the scholarship from. So yes, me, for instance, I'm in Ghana. If I'm applying the scholarship from Ghana, I should have like a statement or a letter stating that I'm a resident of Ghana. I stay in Ghana. Yes. Yeah. Some programs require it, and it is a requirement. Some programs do not require that. And also the application form. The application form. Some applications you have to do it online, fill it, print it, and submit. Or some also have the application document. You have to download it, fill it, make it like a PDF. You print it, you scan it, and also upload it into the application system. So basically, these are the documents that you need to also have with you before you apply for the scholarship. Yeah, thank you.
Grant, thank you so much, Rev Richmond. Aidah, this is your time in a minute. Could you just reflect on your experience studying in Ireland. But of course, you don't have to stick to the script. You can be as innovative and creative as you want.
Oh, thank you very much again. So my personal experience in Ireland so far is quite good. And speaking of also advantages to study in Ireland for international students is one of the benefits, advantages that this is an English speaking country. So many people are comfortable staying here without facing difficulties in communication. But also there is a big diversity here especially in Dublin. There is a big community of international students, so you just feel comfortable, and there's a lot of fun activities here, safe environment and welcoming. People are very generous and welcoming. So all of those things makes your stay here very comfortable, and remarkable moments being here. You will be able to travel in different places. They have a lot of cultural heritage places you can visit. But also one among the benefits to be here is that the student visa here also gives you an opportunity to work part-time. You can have that time to work and make those euros, extra money, we all know. So it's a very good experience for me so far. I'm enjoying my stay here, and not forgetting the quality education that we get from these prestigious institutions that we are being enrolled. So so far, I think Ireland has the best quality education among European countries. So that is the best thing I can say. That I'm proud that I'll be one among those people with quality education that I got from Ireland. So I really encourage people to go through their website. People will be interested, and they will find all the important information, as how Richmond has been explaining, a lot of the documentation that are required for this scholarship are similar to what Richmond has already elaborated. So I think in a nutshell, that is what I can say. Thank you, David.
I want to say a very big thank you to our panelists. I've enjoyed this Edinburgh. You guys have been amazing, and you had so much to say. I wish we had enough time for us to, to share the information. But I really want to thank you, and I want to express how grateful I am. I do understand. This is a Saturday. You could have decided to be elsewhere, but you took your time to be here with me to make this information available. Very important nuggets, very important points that have been discussed in this Edinburgh. I cannot remember everything like immediately, but I remember we talked about the importance of references and how to go about your references. We talked about starting early. We talked about experience, the importance of having that experience that you can get either through employment or being a volunteer. And I remember, I think Richmond also talked about sustainable development goals and how important it is to locate at least one goal that you're passionate about and write, persuade whoever is reading your personal statement or your application that you are passionate about this development goal and you want to play a critical role in meeting that particular SDG. So many things have been shared, and I would like to believe our viewers and listeners, they agree with me when I say they have indeed learned a lot. So viewers and listeners, thank you also for joining us, and do not forget to subscribe to this channel for more educational videos such as this. We do not only talk about scholarships. This is just a series that we are running. After this, we are going to have other series, including a series on SDGs and so forth. So this is the platform that you want to subscribe to and follow. Also remember to visit our website, www.globalsouthopportunities.com for global opportunities, including scholarships, fellowships, jobs, internships, grants, funding. We also accept, review, and publish opinion articles. And for this, you can contact us through our admin at globalsouthopportunities.com. Publishing opinion articles will be very important and critical as well for you when you are making your applications, because the other $1 million question that the panel, the scholarship panel or the committee is having is what are some of your works that have been published. So I encourage you as well to take advantage of this platform for it to also play a critical role in your application. It is bye-bye from us, and thank you so much.